Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another fun-filled video for you. And this knife video will basically just be a discussion video on one particular knife maker. And as you can see, the knife maker that I'm going to be attempting to talk about is this gentleman here, Chris Reeve. And I have in my hand probably the most iconic high-end knife out there. This is this knife has pretty much become like the standard for a lot of people as far as what they would consider to be a great knife. For some of others, probably not so much. And that's really what this video is really about. Why did people have that attitude about Chris Reeve? Well, let's just go through the motions. How does all this start? Well, if you're a lot like me and you started out as a casual knife collector and then moved on to more high-end knives, like I started out, with the low-end Kershaws, all those Mauve HCR 13 knives like the Leak and the Blur and the Cryo way back when, and I just kind of stayed there for a while, kind of just staying there in my safe little haven until I came across my very first high-end piece, and then things started to change. And the knife I'm talking about is this guy right here, the ZT 0562. That's another iconic knife, isn't it? Everybody comes across this one as well eventually. So, and this knife is probably even more significant to the knife community than maybe even this knife in some ways, because this knife kind of gave you an idea of what you pay for in the world of quality. And there's a certain price point, and that price point is right around the $240 to $250 price range. Once you reach that, everything else is just extra. You know what I mean? For $250, you'll get the ball bearing action that you're looking for, right? That fall shut action that everybody wants. You're getting a little bit of the materials. I guess in this case, mine was a little bit souped up. I got the carbon fiber scale with the the blue anodized screws. And now you're getting into this kind of knife as opposed to the lower end variety, and there's definitely a difference. So I began to realize that $240 was that price point. Anything above that would be considered you're paying for. I don't think you're going to get better action, is what I'm saying, or you won't really notice much better action on anything higher priced than that. Many of you guys could probably argue with me, and I would probably say everybody has their own opinion as far as that goes. But for me, as soon as I hit $240, I noticed that the action of a knife, what's available on the knife, that began to sort of just pan out a little bit, right? And then we come across Chris Reeve, right? So most of us graduated to this, correct? And then we moved on, and somewhere along the way, we heard about this knife. We didn't purchase this knife yet, we just heard about it. And we heard about the company, and we heard about the knife maker, and we heard about his insane tolerances for quality. And so we began to, I guess you'd want to say we began to drink the Kool-Aid. I don't want to, use that as a negative connotation, but that's probably what most of us did. We came across the Chris Reeve knife, and some of us crossed over and said, yeah, man, Chris Reeve's it. And a lot of us didn't go that insane over his knife. I'm going to move this out of the way. And basically, there's a certain expectation once you reach a knife like this, where you've got the action that's like so silky smooth, Well, actually, that's not fair because this has ceramic bearings on it. But still, you get to the point where you're into the ball bearing action, right? You're really enjoying the materials that the knife is made of. It's a real hard use knife. You're actually using the knife like crazy and you're really enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, someone pulls a Chris Reeve on you. And maybe if you're lucky enough, you get a chance to hold one or look at it, or maybe even go as far as buying it, right? And you notice that the action is not, it's not the same action, but the action is fantastic. But you begin to realize that it's not that this knife here isn't, it doesn't meet up to par with this. This knife doesn't meet up to par with this one. What you begin to realize once you come across a Chris Reeve knife, that is with the expectation that you have not gone any further in your knife collecting. You pretty much, this is where you're at. You purchase or you take a look at one of these knives and you begin to look at it. You begin to realize that, well, it's not on ball bearings, is it? It's on washers. Okay, I get that. But the quality of the knife, what you see in front of you, you may be turned on by it. You may not be turned on by it. A little difficult to comprehend because it's nothing like this knife, right? But you begin to realize as you start to look at the knife, you begin to appreciate certain things, how thick the titanium is on this knife. How there's no over travel stop on it. These are all the positives on the knife. The fact that the knife is just stellar and all titanium. You begin to appreciate that. You love the look of the knife. Maybe you've got a plain one. Maybe you got one like this with an inlay on it. You're starting to understand that not all knives are exactly the same. But that doesn't mean that it's not a high-quality piece. So what went wrong with the attitudes in most people that came across Chris Reeve knives? It's probably the fact that Chris Reeve is a knife maker who is the face of his own company. Now, when I say that, if you think about Zero Tolerance, and you think about Spyderco, and you think about CRKT, there isn't a face with any of those companies, right? It's all one company or one giant company, unless you want to, maybe it's not fair to say that about Spyderco because Sal Glesser is the face of Spyderco. However, he's still seen as a corporate company, whereas Chris Reeve is kind of confusing because he is his own company, but yet at the same time, he's the face of the company. So nothing gets past him in his company. Whatever they put out, he's the final checker for all of it. And I just think that the message somewhere went wrong when it came to Chris Reeve. Something went haywire. We don't understand why he was sort of singled out, either negatively or positively. I can't begin to explain that. But his knives have not changed. This guy has been making knives since, I believe he's been making knives since 1974. Started his own company in 1978 when he went to Boise, Idaho. He is originally from South Africa. And I think the best way to put it is South Africa does not have a company like Zero Tolerance. They don't have a company like Spyderco. There's nothing like that in South Africa, right? But what they have is Chris Reeve. He's the only corporate person, I guess you want to say he's a corporation, it kind of, that represents South Africa as far as knives. So he has been the beginning point, and I see Chris Reeve, and I think a lot of people see Chris Reeve as the gateway into customs. Even though if you've ever handled customs, other South African customs are nothing like what I have in my hand here. They don't have that same connotation, or they don't have the same feel. However, the one thing that Chris Reeve does have in common with other South African knives is the quality factor. His quality, his attention to tight tolerances is just absolutely insane. Now, beyond that, there are certain things that go with Chris Reeve knives that you simply have to accept if you're going to go down this route. I'm going to put my knife down, and I actually have accepted it, so much so that I own just about almost all of his knives, almost all of his models. That's how much he has affected my knife collecting and how I see knives after I actually purchased one of these. And I think what kind of bothers people about Chris Reeve is the fact that he doesn't do anything like other companies, right? He won't go ball bearings, which I know frustrates a lot of people. You cannot alter his knives. If you get him anodized like I did here, you're going to lose out on his spa treatment program that he's got going. Things like that kind of frustrated people left and right. And I think that kind of put a damper on a lot of people who had high expectations for getting a Chris Reeve knife. But I think what got lost was the message. Chris Reeve is a man who he's actually the only knife maker that I know, okay, who makes knives the way he wants to make them and does things the way he wants to do them. Take it or leave it. That's basically what Chris Reeve is really all about. If you don't like, he's the only knife maker that I know where if you don't like my knife, you can go somewhere else and buy one from somebody else. And that's not him being mean. In my opinion, that is him standing by what he believes to be the greatest knife. I don't have a problem with that. And he's absolutely correct. You need to learn to either take him or leave him, because once you open the door to his knives, you're either going to love him or you're going to hate him. And I'm going to tell you this much. If you are going to base anything that you like in a knife, and if you're going to compare it to, say, something like this, or maybe something like this, you're not going to be satisfied. What I'm saying is that even though these are two completely different knives, right? For some reason in our minds, we can compare these two in a way, can't we? As knife collectors, we can do that. We can compare these two and still say that they're great knives. Something happens when we reach Chris Reeve. It's not the same. It's like we can't go, well, it's not as great as my Spyderco Swiss Bowie. It's not whether it's great or not. It's just that Chris Reeve is different. He's a different kind of knife maker overall in every capacity. It's like oranges and apples. The quality is just off the charts, okay? But it's off the charts the Chris Reeve way, not off the charts the way we look at knives in this sense. You know what I mean? I don't know how more I can explain that, which is probably why the message gets lost when it comes to Chris Reeve. I'm not putting Chris Reeve, and I don't think everybody else who's into Chris Reeve is putting Chris Reeve on a pedestal. What we're saying is that Chris Reeve is just different. He's different in a way that he wants you to see him as an alternative to these guys and the other big corporations that make knives, because these knives are excellent, and every knife company, we all want to believe that every knife company that's out there has something stellar about them, okay? There is something about Chris Reeve that we cannot put our fingers on as far as what is stellar. But I can tell you this much: those of us who enjoy Chris Reeve knives, we have difficulty expressing why we love his knives. We just love them. I've given up trying to explain Chris Reeve to people. It's almost like Chris Reeve is on a planet all by himself, and if you don't want to travel there, you don't have to. He's got people coming in, on that planet daily, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. I mean, it's as simple as that. You could probably look at Chris Reeve as, I guess, the Walt Disney of knives. I don't know how else to explain it. He's just completely off the charts in his quality, but only off the charts as it matters to himself and to the customers that buy his knives. I think that's the only way I can express it. And if you don't want to join the club, you don't have to. You can go on and even, continue on buying knives like this, right? Never having experienced Chris Reeve, be totally satisfied, and then maybe move into customs. Right? I mean, it happens. I mean, people probably come across a Chris Reeve knife once and go, okay, the quality's good, nice thick titanium, no ball bearings? Okay, I'm out of here. It happens. You know what I mean? It happens to a lot of people that are into Chris Reeve. But you need to understand about Chris Reeve is the man believes in his work that much. Any guy who believes in their work that much that they're actually willing to lose prospective buyers, that's something to be respected. Something to be respected. Because Chris Reeve, I don't think Chris Reeve is trying to get everybody in the world. But if you do love his knives and you do enjoy his knives, I think most of us that do enjoy his knives walked away better for it, because we saw the concept of a knife as something else, something different. Really great quality, really, really good materials. Action is really good. But again, all these things we're talking about, the action, the materials, the quality, cannot be compared to anything else out there. It's just completely different, and it's completely different in a positive way. I don't know how else to explain Chris Reeve other than that. He's just a different island entirely. And should you come across Chris Reeve, you need to keep that in mind. You're probably going to risk either loving his work or not loving his work. That's up to you. Myself, the same things that bother others about Chris Reeve, the fact that if I get my knife anodized, I'm going to lose out on his spot treatment, that he doesn't do ball bearings, that he never ever comes out with a totally different knife every year like a lot of the knife companies do. I mean, knife companies like ZT, or not ZT, but Spyderco, I mean, they come out with new knives every year. Chris Reeve, he doesn't do that. He'll come out with a brand new knife when he wants to, and if he wants to. Other than that, if he doesn't have new stuff for you, I've got spit on my knives, fantastic. If he doesn't come out with a new knife, You're simply going to just have to enjoy what he's got. Now, case in point, things are now changing. over at Chris Reeve Knives. As everybody knows, his son is now the new, I guess, CEO of the company, with Chris Reeve kind of taking a back seat, maybe in semi-retirement. I'm sure he still hangs around, but he doesn't live there anymore. And of course, as you guys know, the Chris Reeve Sebenza 21, which is an amazingly iconic knife, is now discontinued. You can still get one, though. Still get one of these. Now, keep this in mind when it comes to Chris Reeve Knives. Even though whatever your attitudes are about Chris Reeve Knives, his knives are the only knives you can actually resell brand new. Because what you could do is you could take one of his knives and get the spa treatment for it, have it brought back to you, and if you don't want to have it anymore, you can go ahead and sell it for the same exact price that you bought it for. So you're not losing anything out on any of his knives, just for that factor. Because we all know we can't do that to a ZT, can we? Once you use a knife, it's over. It's over. It has degraded. You're going to simply have to just, deal with that. If you sell the knife, there's a good chance you'll lose some money on it. That's just the way it is. But Chris Reeve Knives, yeah, you won't lose anything. Get the spot treatment. It comes back completely brand new. And you can go ahead and put it up on eBay, and anybody would buy it for the same exact price that you bought it for. So, I mean, his washer system is completely different than others. His washers actually have little mini holes in them for the grease to sit, so that you get the nice smooth action. That's basically what Chris Reeve does. No other knife maker does that, but he does that. He just does everything different. So the message I'm trying to get across: don't compare Chris Reeve to anyone else. Or if you're going to compare him, understand that he is different. Chris Reeve is just completely different. He's the Apple. Okay, if you want to put it that way, there's a perfect analogy. It's kind of like in the beginning when cell phones first came out, late 1990s, and the concept of a cell phone was completely reimagined with the iPhone. Gone went those old Nokias and all those old Razor flip phones. They were gone. All of a sudden, Apple came out and reimagined the cell phone. Well, by the same point, you could probably say that Chris Reeve attempted to do the same thing with the knife. He reimagined it in a completely different way. So this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off. I hope I got my message across. I don't think I did. But I did the best I could. I'll probably do another one that will explain this man's work. And the reason I felt like I wanted to do this video is because I own so many of his knives, and I'm trying to communicate why I love his work so much. And I think I failed tonight, but I don't know. I guess I'll hear some compliments. Maybe a lot of you guys will just say, well, Knife Shark's just rambling. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And you're probably right, but I tried. I hope to hear some comments from you. I'm all out of words as far as trying to explain Chris Reeve to people. I know Chris Reeve pisses off a lot of the knife community, and a lot of them love him to death. There's even one guy on Instagram I'd like to say hello to. His Instagram name is CRK, I believe CRK all day. He is a Chris Reeve knife fanatic. That guy if you take a look at his Instagram page, he's got Chris Reeve all the way up there in a positive way. Even more than I have. And yet I know that he probably runs across the same problem that I run across when it comes to talk about Chris Reeve. It's almost like I go on Instagram and I talk with my Instagram buddies about knives. All of a sudden I say the name Chris Reeve, and all of a sudden the guy goes, Chris Reeve is He's okay. I don't like the action. I'm not crazy about the fact that he doesn't have like a lot of, he doesn't do ball bearings, whatever excuses that they have. And my own opinion, I think that's happening because they don't see, they're almost trying to compare what they love in a knife. They're kind of comparing it to something like this, and because this has become the generality of what they think a good knife is, the action, the ball bearings, and we all cannot help that. I want to just say that right off the bat. We all cannot help that because that's what got us involved in knives in the first place. You flip a knife, right? It falls shut, man. You lose it. You go crazy. Wow, man, look at that action. Look at all the carbon fiber. We go nuts for all of that. And then you come across a Chris Reeve knife and you don't feel the same way. Now, those of us that held the Chris Reeve knife, we go, okay, this is different, but the quality is still there. Everything is still there. I mean, I think it's awesome what he does. And that's because we grabbed a hold of Chris Reeve and we didn't do that. We didn't compare what we love in a knife. We did not compare this knife to this knife immediately. We just picked up the knife and realized this is great quality. This is great action. This is just a beautiful knife overall. We got it. And some of us just got it because we didn't compare it to this stuff. The things that we like about these knives, we didn't put them in here. See what I'm saying? We didn't take what we loved about about other companies, and we did not associate it with this. That's why we appreciated Chris Reeve Knives as much as we did. And a lot of you guys may do that, and a lot of you guys may not be doing that. So, and it doesn't mean anything. It just means that you love the knife the way you want to love it. And if you're not willing to accept Chris Reeve Knives on their own terms, then you're not going to enjoy Chris Reeve Knives. I think that's the best way I could put it. If you're not willing to accept Chris Reeve Knives on their own terms for what they are, then you will not enjoy Chris Reeve Knives. Now, maybe you're saying to yourself, well, as a consumer, that's not fair to me. Maybe not, but he's not asking you guys, he's not putting a gun to your head to make you buy his knives, is he? It's just you either love him or you don't love him. And if you don't love him, it's okay with him. You can continue to go down the route and never discover him. He's fine. But those of us that did discover him, I can honestly tell you that it has been mostly positive. Mostly positive. And I'm very happy that there is a knife company like Chris Reeve Knives that actually has the balls to do what this guy does. I don't know how else to say it. So this is Omar, the Knife Shark guy. Kind of hoping that maybe you'll understand Chris Reeve a little better now. And if not, and you consider this video just nothing but rambling, that is my fault. I do apologize. Maybe I'll try again. So, but this video can only get better with comments and questions. So please comment on this video. I think it's really important because it bothers me whenever I go online and I meet a new knife friend and I go, hey, what do you think of Chris Reeve? And the reaction is not a positive one. I don't fault him for that. I understand it. I get it. But, open up your mind a little bit. I don't know. What else can I tell you? This is Omar, the Knife Shark guy, signing off. Actually expecting this video to be a lot longer than it was. But in any case, Happy New Year to all you guys. And maybe you'll, in the new year, maybe this video might have actually helped switch you over. I don't know. Happy New Year to you guys, and I will see you in the next video. And yes, I've got a couple of new customs coming. I don't know when. Until that time, Actually, I expect to get my new custom probably in about a couple of months. Until that time, I'm sure there'll be other videos that I'm going to be doing, discussion videos. I don't know. I'll come up with something to keep this channel going. If you guys have any ideas for me to do a video, really would appreciate it. I want to thank everybody that has subscribed. I'm hitting close to 300 subscribers. I'm real happy about that. I've got a real primitive setup here. I do my best to try to not necessarily educate people. I don't consider myself an educator of knives. I consider myself a fan of this hobby, and I love to show off my knives. That's basically what this channel is about, and it's about sharing. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year to you, and I don't know. Peace.